see you. How are you today? That's right. I'm back again with yet another art stream. It's been a while since I pulled out an art stream from my ass. Just packing my stuff up since I'm done with the art itself. I know I said I was going to talk during the stream, but you know, plans change. People decided to talk over me, so yeah. But we've created something quite beautiful here, haven't we? Here's a close-up for you. Get it in frame. Nice, right? The angle's off because I'm trying to point it at a camera, but that's right, folks. I, in fact, am right skilled. Could you not focus on the fucking microphone, please? There it is. Yeah. So, it's a little hard to tell because I was taking a 3D object and transforming it into a 2D image. This is in fact something I found today, and I thought I'm going to draw it. This is a drawing of a statue of an angel that is being kidnapped. That's what the statue depicts. It's an angel being kidnapped. These are angel wings. I know, they don't look very much like angel wings. It's very difficult to copy directly the fucking shape of each individual feather, nor did I want to spend my entire day just fucking making feathers. So it kind of came out to be like furry. I guess you could interpret this as like, that's a big ass tail or something. I don't fucking know. But these are angel wings. Everything else came out perfect. Fucking, yeah, I just saw that piece and I was just inspired. This was actually my first time using a camera lucida, which is this little thingy right here. You can't even see it, but sorry, my head is just, you can't even see it, but this is a prism, right? So you look through this part right here, you put your eye right directly onto this piece of metal, and you look down through the prism, down at the bottom layer of the prism, not straight through it, but down at this side of the prism, like the bottommost side. So not straight through it, not like straight through it, but like down here. And when you look through it, it projects the thing that you're seeing through the viewer through this side of the prism from in front of you down at your paper. And that saves me a lot of time because naturally I am already gifted with the ability to see an image and then place it onto I know the music is loud, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I already have the ability to take an image and place it into a drawing. Okay, I've done this before in some of my portfolio pieces. I can straight up just like look at a Batman cover, I can look at a Spider-Man pose, take that, put my own character skin over it, and this is very difficult because this is sort of the basis of realism. Basically, way back in the day when people were studying how to capture or not memorize, catalog or scientifically capture the physical world. And they would literally, either by using one of these bad boys, you can kind of see the thing that's in front of it, which is the wall. I don't know if you can see that, but that's literally the wall in front of it. They would use one of those bad boys. It wasn't mounted to a table. It was literally, you had to, and funny enough, you can actually use it old school by unscrewing it. And then you can just kind of hold it up to your face. Let me see if I can show you what this thing does. You see that? Don't look at me. It's just a prism. It's just a reflection. That's the wall near me. That's literally my wall. That's my post-it board. See that shit? And so when you look at it like this, with this little thing right here sort of placed up against your eye, it reflects the thing in front of it, which, as you can see, there's a viewer right here in the front. And so when you're looking down at your paper like this, the viewer is pointed forward, and you can see through it. You can see the thing you're working on, and you can see your subject in front of you. This was used way back in the day. It's called a camera lucida. They used these little prisms. They didn't have the casing. They literally just had a prism in their hands, and sometimes there was a wooden casing. They would use these to accurately transcribe the natural world. Now, either that was a person's face, a group of people, replicating other art was a thing that they did. And just basically anything you need from the natural world, you can look through one of these and it will appear exactly as you see it with your own eyes on your paper. So you can literally I just cleaned my hands. You can literally be looking at your paper, staring down at your paper, but your subject is simultaneously in front of you because of this. Now, some people will be like, you're just tracing. I don't think so. You still have to have the ability to create something from the thing you're looking at. Tracing is a little easier, actually. And this is my first time using it. Tracing is a little easier. Tracing, when I was very young, I would trace images to sort of understand and learn what was going on with them. Tracing is way easier. But it's a more modern practice. Tracing is like, you literally just put a thing on top of a semi-translucent piece of paper and you draw on the paper. I'm not putting something under the paper. I'm putting an image over the paper. The image moves around, it shifts as my head shifts. That doesn't happen when you trace. There's a lot of differences here. Sometimes my eye would get tired, so I'd have to switch to another eye. When I switched to another eye, the picture moved a little bit. Now I have to adjust it. That's what you saw me when I was adjusting the minute adjustments. That was me trying to place the outline that I've already created back over the mirror or reflected image from the camera. It's a little difficult, but it is a very accurate way to quickly and concisely create a sort of realistic copy or a realistic image of somebody's face. So the skills that I can take from this, I can then use practically if I want to, say, draw a portrait of somebody's face. You know, you can literally, you put the picture in front of me, you put the subject in front of me, or a person, what have you. I put the camera, line it up to their face, line the camera, line up the notepad to where I can see the reflection. Bam, I'm drawing your face in no time. It saves me time because one of the worst parts of having to draw a subject is the fact you have to look down at your paper, look back up, look down at your paper, look back up, look down, up, down. Meanwhile, you're making mistakes, minute details are being fudged because people are moving, your head is moving, the position of your hand is moving. You could try drawing without looking, and then you can try drawing the subject without looking at the subject. But this sort of blends the two worlds together so that you are looking at the subject and you're looking at your paper, and there is no in between. You can just draw what you see. Because usually when people say, oh, just draw the person's face, what you're not understanding is that my memory is fallible. So even though you're standing right in front of me, the position of your nose could look different if you move just a little bit, you know? The angle of what I'm looking at any given time can change. And that can still happen with this, but I would be able to notice it. I wouldn't be able to notice it if I was looking down at the paper while I was drawing you, and then I look back up and you've shifted in your seat because you got uncomfortable. You know? I'd be able to see that if I had the camera. You basically gain the ability to have two eyes. Imagine having a third eye in your forehead, and that third eye can look at your subject, and then your other two eyes can look at your paper. That's what the camera does. It's not tracing because I can't trace your face. There's no way for me. Yeah, I could get a picture of you, put it under, but if I want to do a live portrait of somebody, I can't take a picture of them, trace their face, you know? Also, angling. I can't make a picture big enough to fit on a canvas, you know? If I wanted to size this up, put it on a canvas, I'd have to move a little back, you know? Place the camera in a sort of different angle. Maybe move it around while working on the entire portrait. It would be finicky, and you have to fiddle with it to get it just right. I just don't think I would be able to get the same effect from tracing or using a light board as I would from using this very, very old piece of technology. And that's what it is. It's just a very old piece of technology that people used to use way, way back in the day. You look up videos of what people talked about, what people are talking about this, artists that are talking about this. Literally, the history shows it. The old masters of art. But most in common art culture or everything before postmodern art, they would say, now that's art. That's how you make art. None of this Banksy shit. Don't you dare put fucking Pablo Picasso in front of me. I laugh at a Jackson Pollock. Shit like that. It's like, that's all still art. It's just not the conventional art that we've done for most of human history. So, you know, I think that's what people get upset about. When they see a Jackson Pollock and they just don't understand it. Because it's not a picture. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. You see a Picasso, and you're like, well, that's not a person. That's a stack of cubes. You know? Because that's what it is. Picasso didn't draw people. He drew cubes. He drew cubes, and it just so happened that the cubes formed people. Sometimes they didn't even form people. Sometimes the cubes were so close together and so big that you could hardly tell it was a person. You know? It's a different way of thinking. Rather than simply observe the world and, you know, understand it for what it is, you can work in a more surreal space. I mean, people have always said, oh yes, we love surreal. But you don't love surreal, you love looking at surreal. If you loved surreal paintings, you'd try to understand them. You'd try to take them in and truly dissect what it is. The melting clocks of Salvador Dali was not just a cool image of clocks melting or the screen, you know? No. These images are not just cool pictures. They're statements about the world around us. You know? And you can dissect them to the nth degree, and at that point, should you be dissecting it, or, you know, is it worth dissecting? Because in the end, it is so avant-garde that it's like, well, you can interpret anything from this. You could look at a Pollock and truly interpret anything. And I think that's what people are afraid of. They're afraid of that if they are given the freedom to interpret art in any way that they can, that they fear that that art will gain some sort of power over them. That if you look at a Jackson Pollock and truly dissect what's going on, that you become as deranged as Pollock. You know, because he was a little crazy. But it's not true. Because you're viewing it from an outside perspective. You're not Pollock. You're not splattering the paint. You're not moving giant canvases from one floor to another, putting them together so that you can form an even bigger canvas just so you could splatter paint. You're not doing that. You're looking at the end goal of someone's hard work. And that's really all art is in the end of the day. Just end goals. Yeah, you can have little streams like mine or videos of famous artists, you know, crafting some of their most renowned paintings. Those are far and few between. Nobody was there recording Leonardo da Vinci when he created the Mona Lisa. And I bring up Leonardo da Vinci a lot because he's such an old artist, and his paintings are fundamental to what artists do nowadays, that you kind of have to bring him up. Because if you don't, then you're just doing yourself a disservice. Without Leonardo da Vinci, there is no Vincent van Gogh. There is no, you know, Jacques-Louis David. There's no Edvard Munch. No. Without the fundamentals, you don't have the foundation, you know, and you need the foundation of art to understand the more avant-garde pieces of art. People will always look at a Pollock and say, well, that's not art. Pollock isn't an artist. He just splattered paint. A child could create a Pollock. And that's just not true. It's not. If you look at children's splatter art versus Jackson Pollock splatter art, first of all, several things stand out. One, why are you judging a child on their ability to create art? Alright? Another thing is, what is the moral implication of judging a child off of an adult man who did, like, hardcore drugs and drank all the time? You're comparing his art to what your child is doing? If your child makes anything resembling Jackson Pollock, you should be more concerned about the child than the painting or why, like, what Jackson Pollock created, you know? It's like, you should get that kid checked out because that guy was not in a normal state of mind when he created his best paintings, you know? But even when they try to recreate it, you know, there's those videos online of like, oh, well, I actually got a couple kids and they painted Jackson Pollocks. No, they didn't. They didn't. They finger painted on a fucking tiny canvas. You're missing the whole point. Jackson Pollock created giant paintings, statement pieces that would stand from wall to wall, literally filling up the space. The man loved filling up space. And then you're like, oh, that's not art. He just splattered paint. Like, but were you there when he splattered that paint? Did you see that one drop of paint in the random section of the painting fall at that exact time, at that exact moment? You weren't there for the most minute details of the painting. You can guess what happened first, but you're never going to see the canvas when the first piece of paint was splattered. You're never going to know what that first splatter is going to look like because it's been covered up by 12,000 other splatters, you know? And that's how it develops. That's how it creates and makes something new, because that piece of knowledge that you don't get is just storytelling. He's just telling a story of how you weren't there in the moment. He's actually judging you for not being in the moment. Especially if you say that his art can be recreated by a child, you know? Or you could recreate it if you just grab a couple paint cans. People have been trying to recreate Jackson Pollock's work for years now, and nobody really gets the justifiably close to what he created. No. I've seen them. They're good. You can get very close. They can be very, very nice. But they're not Jackson Pollock's. It's not a Pollock. Because he pioneered it. He made it special. He made it his own. When you see a splatter painting, you don't think, oh, this artist just created something new. No, you think, well, this artist just created a Pollock. This is a recreation of a Pollock. This is his design, his idea. And many artists have gotten those sorts of copycats throughout the years. Even modern artists nowadays will get copycats of them. You know, the budding movement of AI art has facilitated that and brought it to the forefront of, yeah, I can copy any artist I want. If I want to make a Jackson Pollock, I can tell the computer to make it for me. It'll create some random assumption of what colors are, splattered across a fake digital canvas with no physical weight behind the paint. Just sort of guessed, and that's where the art happened. You know, it's not authentic. But you know, art's not always about being authentic. Art is about a lot of different things. Yes, Pollock is known for being authentic, He's also known for being very simple. Now, that's not a bad thing, because his paintings are beautiful. They're an expression of time and space. I mean, the man literally couldn't get enough of watching paint dry. You know, like, that's literally his thing. And it sounds convoluted, it sounds insane when you say that, but that's what he did. He painted a bunch of paintings, and it was just splattered paint everywhere, and he fucking watched that shit dry. That's what you do. That's all you need to do. When you're Jackson Pollock, life is simple. When you're Da Vinci, art is fucking scientific. Just look, it's just the approach of each individual. Yeah, Jackson Pollock, technically there's a science there, you know, liquid dynamics plays a very big role in Jackson Pollock. Does anybody think about the liquid dynamics of Jackson Pollock paintings? No. Because why would you? That's not the point. But you look at a Da Vinci, and you're like, I see what you did there. He put math and artistic ability into the same subject. He mapped out the human body. He said, this is the wheel of man. You know, this is what a helicopter could look like. This is what a tank is. You know, he brought a level of mastery over the scientific world that was just barely developing. No such thing as a scientific artist. Right? But without that small amount of curiosity coming from a profoundly regular artist in his time, he wouldn't be as remembered, because his depictions of crafting art through the lens of science allows for your science textbook to have so many pictures in it. You know, it allows for a diagram of how to give somebody the Heimlich maneuver or CPR in a health textbook in college. You know. Because those are definitively the evolution of that. Yeah, fucking Da Vinci, he's a visionary. You know, he made it look nice. But he had to take those steps for the carbon copy. Here's the standard of how to draw blood. Here's a diagram, a picture of how to draw blood. You know, or just anything instructional, because that's what he did. While he was doing it through the lens of science, he was instructing people in his notes on what to do with the human form. How to creatively be ingenuitive with concepts such as vehicles. I mean, back in his time, the most complex vehicle that was around was a horse-drawn carriage. You know, a chariot. You know, nothing too crazy. But from that, he said, now what if this thing could fly? You know, he noticed the world around him, these little petals that would flutter in the breeze, and would slowly descend as they spin around. He said, now that's interesting. Now what if I took that, made it bigger, and I put a man inside? You see, so he was thinking from an engineering standard, you know? Blueprints come from this guy. You're not going to have blueprints. I mean, not physical blueprints itself did not come from him, but the concept of making meticulous drawings of, machines came from him. He pioneered it. And it was guys like him that would take shortcuts, like using a camera lucida. It was a shortcut. Even back in the day, they said you can't do that. Just record from your mind. It's like, how would you do that? Think of the complexity of just recording something from your mind, creating something out of thin air. The man only did it a few times and he created a tank and a helicopter. You know? Amazing, intuitive designs. Not practical at all, though. You cannot make these things work in reality. But he created blueprints for them, as if they could work. For certain types of artists, there's just certain tools that work best for them. I don't make entirely abstract pieces like Pollock. You know? This piece here could just be seen as expressionism. A render of the world, but simplified in a noticeable way where you know that this is not a physical picture of what is in the real world, but you know that this is very close to the picture. This is very close to what is real. Expressionism. And most expressionists back in the day, they would depict the world through the colors that they see. So if a leaf is green, they would make a splotch of green where they've outlined a leaf. You know? If the floor is filled with red leaves, each leaf that is outlined in pencil or thin black ink, a splotch of red right there, make it sort of prism into a larger shape to create a sort of outline of what the real world looks like. And you do this as an exercise. It's an exercise of our ability to comprehend and observe the world around us. There's so many people back in the day of expressionism, would see the world, but they wouldn't truly observe it. They'd say that's a leaf, but they wouldn't note that it is green. They'd say the leaf is falling, but they wouldn't note the speed at which it's falling, in which direction, you know? They wouldn't care, because that's not their concern. Their concern is that a leaf is falling. What if it falls on me? What if it falls in my food? What if the wind is too strong and it gets cold out? You know? They're not thinking about why the leaf is falling the way it is. They're not thinking about what direction it's going in, what color it is, you know? They're not... And the joke is, they're not thinking about how the leaf feels in that situation. That's the joke. That's the joke that you make fun of expressionists. It's like, but have you thought about how the leaf feels when it falls to the ground? What is the significance of the curtains being blue? Well, the curtains are blue because that's the color they chose for the curtains. Yes, but why blue? What is the significance of blue? Well, blue is seen as a royal color. Blue is powerful, it's calming, and it stands out against similar strong colors like red. Okay. But why make a curtain blue? You know, and it keeps going on and on and on. It's just like, people observe the world, but they do it from the lens of, I don't really care. Yeah, I'm looking at the world, I can see it every day, but why should I care about the color of the sky? What does the shape of the earth have to do with me? I just live on Earth. I can walk up a hill, but why does the shape of the hill matter? Why does the steepness of the hill matter? They don't think about it. They just think, oh, I'm going up this hill, it's getting steep, I'm gonna have to put myself in overdrive, work a little harder to get up the hill. But they're not thinking, well, actually, the hill was there before we got here, and in fact, it is so old that it wasn't there before, and it just formed out of nowhere. The earth moved, and it created this hill. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about, damn, this is a fucking difficult hill to climb, you know? And that's why it's okay to make fun of expressionists. Because all they want to do is express their feelings for the world around them, the nature of the world around them. Abstract expressionism is a little different. Also might be confusing things. Oh wait, I've got that right here. Let me see. Yeah, abstract expression is a whole different thing. Oh, not expressionism. Sorry, I meant impressionism. Expressionism works as well for this drawing, actually. Specifically this drawing. But I was talking about impressionism, that whole thing. But expressionism works for this drawing, so I was just getting the names confused. I have dyslexia, they both end in ism. Expressionism is what this drawing is. Impressionism is what I was talking about. I got them confused and started talking about Impressionism. Impressionism is famous for, again, just backing, Impressionism is famous for the idea of a blurred background. You can have a character in the foreground and it's like, that's the character in the foreground. People in the background are nothing but splotches. You forgot your glasses that day and, well, you can't see the people behind the person in front of you, you know? Or, you're looking at a group of people in the forest, and you can see the people, but the forest is kind of hazy, it's kind of, feels almost dreamlike, These are just famous examples. A fog-filled city, where the sun is rising. You can see the sun through the fog, but it's not bright, because the fog is so thick. You're trapped in the industrial era. You can see a man in the distance rowing a boat. The classic Jean-Claude Monet. Wait, is that his name? I think his name is just Claude. No. I forget his name. Claude Monet. A Monet painting is what you would say. Yeah, of course. I've seen this one before. They love fog. There's so much fog in these paintings. It's just like the idea is that there is a fog obscuring what you're seeing in front of you when you look at these paintings. It's like they're so close to being these hyper-realistic paintings of people, but they miss the mark. There's some sort of uncanny valley when it comes to the people in the background. They literally look like they're made of paint, that's what they're trying to say with the movement of Impressionism. Is these people are in fact made of paint. In some paintings you can see a person and it's like, wow, that looks like a real person. But then Impressionism comes along and they're like, no, we're actually done with recording the physical world. We're going to record the mental world. The way you feel when you're in a crowd. You can see the person in front of you, but the people behind that person might as well be splotches of paint. The surrounding might as well be random oil. Oil paint on a fucking wall. What's important is that there's a person in front of them. But what I'm doing here, the piece that I've created here, is an example of expressionism. A depiction of one of the most famous ones, famous, is Edvard Munch. Edvard Munch, creator of the Scream, most famous painting of Edvard, is quoted in saying, "I do not believe in the art which is not compulsive, a result of man's urge to open his heart." Because he was painting the emotional aspect of. When he painted the Scream, he said that he was painting a memory, where at one point in time he was just walking over a bridge, and either him or his friend, I can't remember, but somebody said that while walking over the bridge they could hear the scream of reality. They could hear the world, the universe, screaming at them. And that horrific thought returned to Edvard Munch's mind, and he created one of the most influential paintings in history, The Scream. And that's where it comes from. He painted these very macabre, very sad, very real paintings of how people felt, what people were doing, the feeling of what they were doing, how they felt. One of my favorite paintings from him is called The Cigarette. And the reason he created the cigarette was very, very, very simple. Back in the day of Edvard's youth, the cigarette was known solely as the poor man's cigar. If you were seen with a cigarette, you were immediately classed as poor. You were immediately classed as lower class. And the man with a cigar was seen and categorized as rich and popular, and But the thing that Edvard loved about cigarettes was that they were much more communal. You made your own. A cigar was made for you. You bought it from a store, and it was made in a factory. But your cigarette, the cigarette you smoke, the pack of cigarettes you smoke, are handcrafted. You made them yourself. You brought them to the cigar lounge, and rather than smoke your purchased cigar, you smoked the tobacco that was in the cigar, and some people would even steal old cigar butts just to extract the tobacco so they can make a small cigarette out of it. And this leads more into the realm of mental health, because at the time many people were struggling with some sort of mania. It's been later classified, I believe, as a sort of manic depression, a manic state, if you will, where they feel very, very high on top of the world, specifically after they could drag their cigarette. And it's because, and this happened because people were smoking more. When you smoke a cigar, you smoke it very slowly. Sometimes people back in the day would just forget that they were smoking a cigar, and it would burn. It would just keep burning, and you didn't smoke it. You were just there while it was burning. But the cigarette was so small, people smoked a bunch of them, and it created this innate feeling of mania amongst so many different people. This turned into a sort of class divide, where people were like, well, you're clearly spiking the tobacco, or you're doing something to it, or like there was a lot of divide between the two classes of people, the cigar smokers and the cigarette smokers. And the way, and Monk's interpretation of it is he was proud of the cigarette. He loved the cigarette. He said the cigarette is a movement. When you smoke a cigarette, you're not just smoking some tobacco because it feels good to smoke. No, you're smoking a cigarette because it's a statement. It's a statement against the bourgeoisie. And you're fighting against a sort of regime of the rich and powerful. And so he ended up creating one of my favorite paintings of his that is called Edvard Munch's The Cigarette. And it's just simply a self-portrait of Munch himself holding a cigarette in his hand, just shrouded in darkness and shadow. And it's beautiful because it represents how somebody felt back in that day when they smoked a cigarette. When you smoked a cigar, you were saying, well, I'm part of a group. We smoke cigars together. We're in a cigar club, actually. We're all rich here, and that's why we smoke cigars together. There was a sense of community. When you smoked a cigarette, you smoked it because you wanted to smoke it. You smoked because it was your choice, not because you were part of a group. Yeah, you smoked when you were smoking with a group, but you weren't smoking as a group. You were just smoking. There's no special caveat. You didn't only smoke with your group. Sometimes you went home and you smoked by yourself. Sometimes on the way home when you're walking by yourself, you smoked then too. Because you had so many cigarettes, and it was so easy to roll them. And that's what Munch was saying when he created the painting of the cigarette. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's just Edvard Munch's The Cigarette, a self-portrait of a cigarette. I can't remember, but he painted that as a way of depicting that cigarettes were actually cool. Cigarettes were better than cigars, actually. Cigars were for old men. Cigars were for the rich. And the rich were usually old men. And he said this because Munch would oftentimes, in art parlors, which is a thing that people did way back in the day, it's just not something that happens very often, but just, way back in the day, people would get together and create art, Good artists, bad artists, doesn't matter. Everybody got together and just made art in a parlor. Not very many rich and wealthy people did this, but when people like Munch did it, they would get together and they'd smoke, all talking about politics and art and any other subject of the day. But they do it while smoking a cigarette. So, I'm not saying that you should look at this painting and say, damn, now I want a cigarette. That's not the point. The point is that at the time, that was the message. But it's changed. Because we're looking at it from a point of view of years and years and years of people telling you legitimately that if you smoke cigarettes, you're gonna die. And even back then, doctors said that they linked certain illnesses with smoking cigarettes. Because they'd seen similar sort of illnesses come from the rich and powerful, but, once the tobacco got into the hands of the majority of people back in the day, that's when the cases started popping up more and more. Sort of hyper-acute mania that just drove people crazy. And one of the notes is just, people were smoking more cigarettes. But what I'm saying is that this statue looked amazing. Look up Danielle Akasoto, I don't know. Anyways, Danielle Casoto, something like that. He creates, these are just the famous ones, but he creates these statues, these beautiful, haunting statues of angels just tied up, their wings bound, their legs and arms tied together, their mouth covered in duct tape. I saw this and I was like, well, this sounds like me. This sounds like my story. I'm not saying I'm an angel, but I'm saying I've gone through a similar situation. I can't say 100% for sure what he's trying to depict here, but it seems these are depictions of human trafficking. He's clearly saying, I mean, I can show you the art. Hold on, we can contrast and compare. Okay. So this is the statue. Just let me know if you see there's a okay, it's not it's locked. What's happening? Why can't I move it? What the hell? Huh? Okay, getting rid of that now. Over here. Image. There we go. You can kind of I'll move this down a little bit. Oh shit. Where'd it go? This is it. Why can't I move it? Bro, what the hell is going on? Is it because it's not on the topmost thing? What? Anyways, there's the picture. Yeah. I think I captured. Here, let me yeah. I think I captured the image fairly well here. But usually, so it's not a freestanding statue. It doesn't stand on its own. It kind of can, but I don't think it does. Anyways, he actually places these statues in boxes, like physical crates. and I just saw this and I was like, wow, this is a depiction of human trafficking. This is a kidnapped person, you know, or an artistic depiction of one. And it really just like, it puts the innocence of an angel into the perspective of a kidnapping, human trafficking victim. And it spoke to me because I too have experienced a level of human trafficking, and drug trafficking to a level. I wouldn't know which one to categorize it as because it feels like it falls into both. I won't go into detail so as to not ruin your day, but that's a personal experience of mine. And I saw this statue and I was just amazed on the level of detail and how accurate he is to sort of these. Because usually when people see statues, they're like, oh yeah, like the Statue of David, you know, like that's kind of what this is depicting. Just this really beautifully crafted sort of depiction of an angel, but placed in this awkward position, so hunched over, where you can literally, the box around it that makes up the image sort of feels like it's personal prison. And that's really the haunting beauty of this picture. Just a very interesting statue, and I saw it and was just inspired to try to recreate it as a drawing. You let me know how I did, though. I think I did pretty alright, actually, all things considered. Yeah, but art is a tool for the storytelling of real life. Art is, in a way, crafted and made so to depict real life in a better way. Something that isn't tainted by the likes of a documentary or a biography. So that's what it's for. That's what most people would consider that for. But yeah. We yapped on a bunch. I think I made up for some lost time there. We went on for maybe I want to say I was drawing for about maybe 2 hours. And then I talked for another hour just to sort of fill in the space. I might upload this on YouTube. I might take some of the drawing footage itself and make that into an Instagram post and possibly a short for YouTube. No commentary on those, but you might see a re-upload of the VOD. I'm probably gonna do more art streams. It's a give and take. I love playing the finals. Just personally, it's a really fun game for me, but I can't play the finals all the time, so I think a nice change of pace from playing a video game to crafting art is a good thing to do. But yeah, This is actually my first time using watercolor as well. I wanted to start off with something simple, just shading a sort of gray and white statue. I think is a good starting point. And then, you know, I'll slowly evolve into colors, into different colors. I do have that lovely little palette. We were talking about it on old past stream. Where I was trying to look for, I was actually just trying to look for that specific what's it called? That specific palette. I was actually just trying to tell you about the palette, but I did find it online. And I got the bigger version. Because the one I saw online was the small version. But, oh. What the hell? That's a thing you can do? Excuse me? So wait. Hold on. If I want to click BRB, you're fucking with me. I didn't even know there was a feat. If you press the space bar on the last thing you hide, it fucking brings it back up. That's sick. What if I like close out, press space? Does that do it? No? No, you have to be in the application. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think that would make too much sense. Anyways, it's been a pleasure. It's been quite a pleasure. I wish I could have talked more, but circumstances would not allow it. Somebody had to play Fortnite with his homophobic friends. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, nevertheless, what's done is done. I've crafted art. True visionary like art. And I'm happy. And I'm happy that you're happy. Ugh. I had three cups of tea. All non-caffeinated and all with, what is it, chamomile. Oh boy, am I sleepy. I usually have to take, I'm still going to take my regular sleep medication, but it's kind of crazy that a cup of chamomile tea can get me there too. Not as effectively though, but don't stop taking your sleep aids just because you drank some chamomile tea and it made you tired, alright? Don't be like those fucking idiots that think all their problems are gonna be solved if they take some melatonin. Like, bro, it's not that you don't have melatonin. As a matter of fact, you have an excess of it because you keep fucking taking the pills of melatonin. Which is also a detriment to your melatonin intake. Like, that's it. You can't have it's a chemical imbalance. You can't have too much, you can't have too little. So how do I find the middle ground? You don't. That's not your job. Go to a fucking doctor, you piece of shit. But why go to a doctor? I could just buy it. I could just buy melatonin. Well, clearly the melatonin isn't fucking working, you idiot. You fucking idiot. Get some fucking help. You ain't a fucking doctor, stop self-medicating. That's probably the reason I fucking fucked up my life, because I self-medicated. Well, mostly just like my family didn't give me medication when I needed it. As if they didn't see, like, the signs of mental decay. It's fucking insane. Like, literally during that time, they're like, you're different. You're acting strange. Really now? Have you thought about taking me to a doctor? I'm not 18 yet. You could just take me to a doctor. And they would prescribe me medication. They're like, goodness. No, you're not crazy. You're not insane. And they'd say shit like that. Like, you're not crazy. You don't need to go to a doctor. Like, nah, you don't have to be crazy to go to. I mean, like, just extremely, just super conservative takes on doctors. I also think the government is made up of like a Jewish deep state that controls the world, and if you go to a doctor, you're just playing into it because they're fucking crazy. I need to get approved for that apartment. Holy fuck. I absolutely need to get approved. Hold on, I gotta go to my Gmail. It's fucked. Yikes. Yikes. I got a few things to do that, but anyways. I'm not gonna do that on stream. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name is Lucky Luna, and I really appreciate your viewership. If you liked the stream and you want to see more of my content, feel free to follow me on YouTube, where I'm going to go post a VOD right now of the finals. What the fuck? Wait, that one had more. Wait, what? Are these out of order? Yeah, they are. Okay. Alright. Well, despite the fact that nobody's watching these VODs, I'm still gonna post them, because why the fuck wouldn't I? It's actually really fun. For me, at least. No, not that. Damn it. The thumbnail, yes, of course. What is it? Did y'all see they added a Cowboy Bebop. Added a Cowboy Bebop. Is this not the right, or did I just put the wrong name on it? That might be. They made a Cowboy Bebop Overwatch skin. It's actually really fucking sick. Wait, fuck, shit. Oh, I see. Alright. I think they're cool. Obviously, McCree makes a good, it makes a good Spike. Sombra's, fucking Malga's got a skin too. Ash has a skin as well, yeah. Ash is Valentine or Valentine. Faye Valentine, I think. And then Hammond is the corgi. One of my favorite animals in anime pets or mascots, pet mascots in animes, is the little corgi from Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. Sorry. My bad. I'm looking for it. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the viewership. I appreciate your time. And I want you to know that I care deeply about you. And I want you to feel better. And drink some chamomile tea. It'll help you get very sleepy. Enjoy the music, and I'll see you soon. Bye.